All right, getting this game started in 3, 2, 1, go. So welcome back to the Stars War Tournament number 6. This is game 2 of our set 3 today in the day 2 of the round of 32. So we have mouz.Morrow morphing in as our blue Zerg here in the bottom right, and in the top left we have Liquid.Huk as our red Protoss, and the score of course is 1-0 in favor of Morrow at the moment. We did see that game on Xel'Naga Caverns, where Morrow did get himself a pretty good macro advantage, good upgrade advantage, and we saw a couple little micro mistakes from Huk. Wow, I guess Huk talking about the lag when he plays on a different server. He says he wants to kill himself every time he plays. I don't know, I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, playing with that kind of delay makes it very, very hard. I'm not 100% sure what the scenario is like right now, whether Huk is playing on Europe, because of course he is, I believe at the time that this game was played, is in Korea at the OGSTL house. And if he's playing in Europe, then he's going to have a pretty huge delay, and that will make microing those units a little bit harder to pull off. He'll have to be doing it a lot earlier if he wants to get those timings down right. And you do have to have a little bit of an element of prediction in there if you want to make up for the fact that you could have a 300-400 ms delay on just moving your units around the map. And when you're playing a race like Protoss, where your unit control is kind of the crux of your entire playstyle, having that kind of delay could completely throw games away instantaneously, and that might be what we saw last time.
Yeah, it's absolutely possible. You know, I scoffed at the idea because I didn't think the lag would be that bad before, because it's not that bad for anything else. But Battle.net 2.0, unfortunately, playing Cross Realm does not work out that well. I actually got myself a Korean account a while back as I wanted to play against Korean players. But yeah, playing as a Protoss player, the lag is just too unbearable. Sometimes the delay is between half a second, almost a full second delay on your actions. And when you're trying to drop down a force field, that can be, you know, some kind of clutch force field to drop down, block off some Zerglings, or even just big amounts of force fields during a battle. Watching them go down a second after you click them can just be infuriating, which is actually why I stopped playing on the Korean server. So if that's what's happening to Huk right now, I feel really bad for the guy that he's being forced to play in that type of a laggy scenario.
Yeah, he's going to have to play a little bit different of a play style here, as he's going to have to find a different way to compensate for the difficulty that comes with the micro when it comes to having that kind of delay. And right now we're going to see a force fast expansion coming out of Huk, but it will get scouted out by Morrow, as that drone is going to be able to get in there. It's going to make a big patrol circle over the main base, make it very hard for any of these melee units to actually track that down. And Huk is just going to start adding on some cannons and setting himself up a nice defensive position. Morrow has this natural expansion on the way, as well as the second queen here, so that he can transfer it over there and get his larva injections on the way immediately, or maybe start a creep timber before he gets his first injection underway.
Has Huk completely... I think he's completely walled himself off at the natural.
I think so.
Interesting choice. You know, this isn't... That is... I mean, you can think it's not that big of a deal because, you know, he can just warp in units on the outside, etc. But what it means is that he's not going to be able to get probes outside of his base. So if he can't get probes outside of his base, it's going to be really hard for him to take a third until, of course, he just kills off one of these units. And it's going to be harder for him to be scouting and taking map control. So, you know, putting that pylon down there just seems like seems pretty unnecessary to me, when you could just use a zealot to block that zealot, or two zealots, or a zealot and a probe until you have the second zealot to block that space. And I mean, granted, you did see that Morrow went for that gas pool build yet again, which is a little odd on this map, which is such a macro heavy map to not go hatch first. But Morrow's going for this extremely early lair. I mean, look at this. His lair is already halfway done. We're 6 minutes into the game, and he's getting his second gas as well. So, you know, we could see some really, really early, you know, Mutalisk build. We could see some early type of Hydra bust. Could even see some really unorthodox play, like some type of fast teching to Infester. You never know. But I'm really interested to see what Morrow's going to do with this extremely quick lair.
Yeah, Morrow still has this drone running around the main base of Huk, but Huk has added on a Stargate in his natural expansion, and that is going to mean that Morrow isn't actually going to scout that out unless this drone actually
no.
makes it down there. Yes, he will see the Stargate, and that will mean that he will be able to react to that correctly, since that Stargate is quite a ways away from having any units out. And Huck actually cancels it. And in the meantime, looking back at the base of Morrow, he's got pneumatized carapace and ventral sacs on the way. Still no Roach Warren or Hydralisk Den or anything like that out of Morrow, so I'm definitely curious to see what he plans on loading up into these Overlords.
All right, I like this play. I like this. Morrow saw that Huck walled himself completely off, so he's like, all right, I'm just going to drop your main base. And this is going to come down to an extremely tight timing because, as you can see, Huck just dropped 5 more gateways in his base. He's going for this 2 base, 6-gate timing build. And, you know, since he didn't get that many gateways for so long, all he has is 2 sentries and a zealot at the moment. So, I mean, if this drop comes relatively soon, and he does have speed and drop capability here, then Huck could be in a lot of trouble if he doesn't have the units to defend against it.
Yeah, and level 1 weapons looks like it's going to finish right around the time that this attack is going to hit. As those 5 warp gates start to finish and start turning them over. But all of the gateway units are about to be surrounded, yes. And Morrow is going to pick off that probe.
Huge blunder by Huck.
Get thrown down.
I can't imagine why you would want to move out with 1 zealot and 2 stalkers in this matchup in that position at that time. That just seems so risky. You need to keep those sentries, and especially in this position where you don't have that many units because you forge expanded. You're not going to have that much stuff. And we do have actually banelings morphing outside.
Mineral lines. I think we might see a 3-pronged attack here. You might attack the front, baneling drop both of the mineral lines at the same time.
Yeah, this is going to be devastating. It's so very hard to deal with this unless you have a very large number of units or a large number of force fields. And Huck has neither. And he's moving his army out yet again. He seems dead set on forcing the Zerg player to make units instead of drones, but he has no idea what's going on right now. This Overlord's coming in. He's not moving his probes. He clearly saw it with the Stalkers. Now he's moving his probes away. Unfortunately, a bit of a misstep. Naturally, he is actually managing to get his probes away from these banelings. So actually, given what he had to deal with, pretty good defense there from Huck defending his probes. But at the same time, there's just a ridiculous number of Zerglings in Huck's main right now that he's going to have to deal with. And unfortunately, he's pylon blocked. He got his pylons killed there, and now he's supply blocked. And he has 6 gateways. And he had quite a bit of money as well that he can't do anything with now.
Yeah, so this does mean that Morrow is going to be able to continue pumping out defensive units to take down this attack. All of the sentries go down to a single baneling, and the Queens are now going to start cleaning up the remainder of these Zealots. Excellent transfusions are going to go down. The last 2 Zealots are going to die. Meanwhile, the Zerglings are wreaking havoc in the base of Liquid.Huk. All of the warp gates are now unpowered. The main nexus has been taken down, and Huck is going into emergency defensive mode, adding on a few pylons here at his natural expansion and some more cannons, trying to stay in this game, but he is in a world of hurt right now. 15 banelings on the way, and all he has to do is knock down a few of these pylons, and the game is going to be over.
Yeah, Huck just barely trying to stay in this game, does not want to lose to this type of, quote-unquote cheese, this baneling bust drop type of play early on, especially after doing that forge expansion, and especially after moving his army out of position right there. So he's just going to try to barely stay, and he did kill quite a lot of probes. No, not the direction to move your probes in. A ton of probes got taken out by banelings there. Here comes the drop. He's trying to put in some force fields to defend against it, but he just does not have enough units. All those gateways getting lost, getting pylon blocked, has really made this indefensible for Huck.
Yeah, Huck made a huge mistake trying to commit to that attack at the natural expansion of Morrow. Should have went back and defended, and now it looks like it's going to cost him the game. If you take a quick look at the workers killed tab, we see that 43 probes have been taken out this game, and that number is just continuing to grow as the remainder of these forces stick around in the natural expansion of Liquid.Huk, just to continue doing damage. Meanwhile, more Zerglings are making their way across the map to get to where these Overlords are hanging out, and there is a lot of gas in the bank for Morrow. He could have went for another baneling drop, but Huck throws out the GG before that can happen.
Yeah, wow. Morrow taking that series 2-0 extremely handily. I mean, if I mean, that's, overuse the saying, if I had, $1 for every time I've seen Huck do a 6-gate timing push, I'd be a rich man or whatever. That's he does that a lot. It's one of his favorite builds to do in PvZ, especially on this map. We've seen him do it in the GSL. And I think Morrow kind of knew that, and he saw what he was doing. He saw, okay, he's going for a forge expand. All right, he's going up to 2 base. he's probably going to go for that that 6K timing push again on me, especially given cross positions, the advantage that the warp-in mechanic gives despite the long rush distance. So Morrow decided to go for this excellent timing of this Baneling drop that came right as Huk was trying to move out to go place that forward pylon and start being aggressive. So Morrow really, I feel like, just completely saw exactly what Huk was going to be doing, just predicted it perfectly, and completely outplayed him there, unfortunately for Huk. You know, his build just really got hard countered by what Morrow was planning to do.
Yeah, I mean, if Huk had actually pulled back and tried to defend that, then he might have been in a little bit better of a situation. But Morrow, like you said, just kind of went for the hard counter to that build. After seeing that full wall of Huk had committed so much to setting up a defensive position in his natural expansion that the drops just completely circumvented that. And Huk really just couldn't handle it. So that does mean that Morrow is going to take the series 2-0, and he will advance to the round of 16.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately for you guys, that is going to be the last series that we're going to be casting today. I'm not entirely sure when the next day of casting is going to be, but you can just check the thread. I'm sure it's listed there. But thank you guys so much for watching. I definitely want to thank our sponsor, Gigabyte. Of course, thank Team Liquid, Reddit, and the well-played communities. And we'll see you guys next time.
See you guys later.